Hold the Line is back again for a football fan chat. And I'm not alone. In the house is Ali and Emma. Everyone's looking hot and flustered. I'm looking slightly shiny in my new background. You know, where's the makeup people when you need them? How's everyone, all right?
Yeah, little warm.
a little warm. a little warm. It's a tad. Everyone's been inside. Excuse me for the makeup change of background as well. Obviously, it's required for a show like this. We need to keep it real. We've got calls coming up. I think we've got calls. I've got the individuals in the background. It's not just myself and Emma and Ali. Obviously, DM's here. Obviously, Craig are here. They're in the background doing their bits. We've got calls coming in, 20 minutes or so. But when I say 20 minutes, 20-minute intervals. Emma, don't. Yeah, the heat has got to me. I'll tell you what. I'm sat in a different room. The aircon's on. You can't hear it. Got ice pack. Got flannel. Got fan. You know, honestly,
you've got aircon.
Yeah.
Listen, and a portable unit. Listen, come on.
Oh yeah.
Needed.
I've got this tiny little USB fan. It's working wonders. It really is.
I can see that windswept look happening.
Yeah, totally. Like Beyonce.
Well, look. Thanks to everyone who has been involved. Thanks to everyone who's actually commented on the Twitter handle, sent comments in, sent questions in. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for reaching out to us. So we're back again for this Olympic special. 5 days. 5 days to go until the Olympics begins. We're so excited. We're going to see some fantastic Olympic football. We can't wait for the teams to get underway. One of the big things that we're going to ask about tonight is about what are the hopes of Team GB. There are some really good teams there, and I believe Team GB are one of them. It's really strange calling them Team GB.
You mean Team England plus a couple?
Well, it's almost like the Lionesses just rebranded.
Yeah.
Which Emma may say something different.
City.
We've got a call.
England.
We've got a call coming in.
No.
Hello?
No, we ain't.
I thought we had. So I put in my other earpiece to sound all, official.
Yeah. So you guys really looking forward to Tokyo then? I'm sort of getting in the mood for it now.
Oh, I'm going to watch it. Do not get me wrong. I think we do have a great shot at medaling. We may not get gold, but I think we have a great shot at medaling. But, as the last Olympics proved, anything can happen. The United States were the favourites, and they were going, and then they crashed out in the quarters. So,
yeah, you can hear the local traffic going past my hut because the window's open. You can hear boy racers are out. They've had their Sunday dinner, now they're off. So,
who are you expecting to shine for Team GB at the Olympics?
Oh, I'll let Ali answer that question.
Actually, I think we should let our caller, Ben, because Ben is with us. We have our first caller, Mr. Gilby. Hello, sir.
Hi there, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing in this fine weather?
I'm okay, melting a bit, but other than that, no, it's all good, thank you.
Don't melt, Ben. Don't whatever you do. If you do melt, do it after the call, because I don't think I or Emma or Ali are first aid trained, so we just.
I am actually.
All right, I'll stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben, you haven't phoned in to talk about obviously melting. Your passion is Australia.
Yeah, I'm Australian women's football, and obviously Olympics starting on Wednesday, so there's a lot going on with the Matildas at the moment, and how things are going, and the group that they're drawn in, which is pretty horrendous.
Yeah.
Group of death.
Well, it's kind of would you call it the group of the USA and another?
I don't know. I mean, if you listen to a lot of people in America at the moment, they're sort of quite pessimistic about how it's going to go. I mean, I think it's the group of death to end all groups of death, because you could argue that 3 of the teams in that group are potential semi-finalists. And, and New Zealand are far from a gimme as well. Because, I mean, they're consistent qualifiers. And, they beat England before the World Cup at Brighton, and they deserve to beat them that day. So they're quite capable of getting a draw, at least in some of the games that they've got too. So that's going to be a heck of a group to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the tournament. And I would expect Australia, and this is me talking as an absolute novice in terms of the Olympic setup for football, I would expect Australia to get out of the group.
They should. I mean, I think they need to get 4 points from the first 2 games. Because, I mean, obviously, 2 of the 3 third-place teams will go through anyway. But, yeah, I think they need to get 4 points out of their first 2 games, because you don't really want to go into the last game against America needing to rely on getting something out of that game. So, yeah, I mean, it's New Zealand first up on Wednesday morning, which will be hard, and Trans-Tasman rivalry and all that, so that'll be a tough game anyway. And then next Saturday it's Sweden, who and they've only recently played each other back in June, where Sweden got a narrow win. So yeah, it's going to be hard, and they've only played 5 games since February 2020 as well, and with a new head coach. Who's changing a few things around, so it's not ideal by a long stretch, and it's going to be a tough test.
Yeah, Ben, I've got a question. Was there anyone that missed out on selection for the Olympics that you felt should have been called up?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the thing really with the squad is that if you look at it, it's a very, very strong squad on paper. But there's a lot of players in there who have not played a lot of football for quite a while. So Lydia Williams missed a lot of the season with Arsenal. She hasn't played very much. Steph Catley as well has hardly played for Arsenal either. Chloe Lagazzo has virtually not played since she left Bristol City. And Elise Cullen-Knight has been injured for a long time. And I mean, I spoke to Tony Gustafsson back in June, and he was saying it was always likely that he was going to name both of them for the Olympics, because he kind of values what they can bring and doesn't necessarily feel that they would need a big run into to come back to form. But that, and it's those 4 players, you could say, is a massive risk. A few people were a bit put out that Charlie Grant was called in. I mean, she was called into the games against Sweden and Denmark, but for the first time, and she didn't get on the pitch at all. But she made the squads for the Olympics, which I think she deserves the way she's played in a debut league, and now she's gone out to Sweden to play. But yeah, I think it's more the case of whether those that are in there, it's going to be too soon for them given injuries, rather than who's not there really. Yeah.
Questions coming up from our team in the shadows, DM and Craig. World Cup in Australia. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully by then, I mean, the country's been pretty much completely shut down internationally for, about 18 months now. So hopefully things will get sorted out so we can actually go and enjoy it. I mean, I think it's the next 3 years are kind of like the biggest period in the history of the women's game in Australia, really, because obviously the Olympics this year, it's the Asia Cup next year, and then Home World Cup after that. And I think you could argue that the team will probably be at their peak in time for the World Cup. Sort of like the golden generation will reach their peak in time for the World Cup on paper, because the likes of Sam Kerr and the players of her generation will be sort of just about pushing 30 by then. So they'll be in a good place, and there's a lot of very young, talented players coming through who by then will be in sort of about 2021. So you could argue that it could be a really strong World Cup domestically for the Matildas, and obviously New Zealand as well. I mustn't forget, because they're co-hosts too.
Sorry, apology, New Zealand. This Sam Kerr.
And obviously the Matildas are kind of bigger than the Socceroos to an extent as well.
Why not? This Sam Kerr sounds interesting. What do we know about her, Emma?
Why are you asking me? That's like rubbing it in.
Ben, do you know what? You made some great points. I can't wait for the World Cup. I've never been to Australia, and I'd like to go. But if Australia are still locked down, I hear that Wembley are open. They have great facilities. They have a first-class security system in place. All is welcome, even if you haven't got a ticket.
Hey, you behave yourself.
Literally,
Spurs job is not easy.
I've got a question. Ali Riley posted earlier today her cardboard bed. I mean, how would you feel about sleeping on a cardboard bed in the Olympic Village?
I think that's for you, Ben.
Do you know? Yeah, do you know what? I don't think the Olympic Village is the place to be at the moment. I think already there's sort of positive cases out there already, isn't there? So it's I don't think anybody wants to be in the Olympic Village right now. And despite the fact I've been double jabbed, it'd be a bit dicey, I think, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it would. To be honest, you know, in all seriousness, Ben, are you not holding out much hope for Australia in this Olympics, or are you just hedging your bets?
I mean, I think it's potentially too early. You know, Tony Gustafsson's come in. He's changing the defence more from five players at the back to three, and that's very much a work in progress. And that, you know, I think if you look at who they've played coming into the Olympics and who they're going to be playing in the Olympics, that's a very tough move to make with the games that are coming up. So, I mean, I think right now I'd be overjoyed with the quarterfinal place, and then once you're in the quarterfinal, sort of anything can happen. I think that's where we are at the moment. They're building, and you won't sort of see them at their peak probably for another year to 18 months, I would have thought.
Do you kind of feel that kind of applies to kind of all teams that are in this tournament in a minute? Because almost every team has really gone into this kind of underprepared, really.
I think they have, but I think some teams are more prepared for others. If you look at the sheer number of games that America have played, and you know the likes of Sweden and all of that, they've played quite regularly over the last year or so. You know, whereas Australia went from February last year to April this year without a single game, and then in April, the 2 games they played, they could only select European-based players. So they had some very strange players playing in some very strange positions for those 2 games. You know, so realistically, they've played 3 games with a top-level squad in 18 months. And that's before you even sort of throw into the mix the fact that they're changing the defensive setup as well. And if you look at someone like Ellie Carpenter, who plays right back, she spends a lot of her time attacking. So you could argue that 3-player defence at times is potentially 2. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, I think.
One quick final question, Ben, just off the topic of Olympics slightly. Transfers, do you think we're going to see any more Aussies come into the league? I know West Ham, my beloved, are rumoured to be signing another in Simon. But do you think we're going to get more, or do you think they're going to stay home and focus on the W League?
I think Manchester United would contest who's going to sign Kaya Simon, from what I've heard. In terms of right now, I think most of the top Aussies are either already in Europe or that, you know, are pretty much here and it's done. Other than Kaya Simon, there's a huge number of very, very good sort of 19, 20, 21-year-olds. I mean, very, very good. But I think they would need to go somewhere like Scandinavia or the Scots, that sort of level first, because I think the W League right now is too big a jump to go straight from the dub into the Super League. But there's some exceptional young players who come the World Cup in 2023 are going to be really sort of smashing it, I think.
Oh, you know, I say interesting stuff. I like that last bit about Manchester United challenging a certain West Ham team. It'll be interesting to see whether or not that happens.
Well,
but
if you listen to the Man United YouTube fan show, they think they've already got it as a signed thing. But do you know what? They need a manager first, don't they, before they can sign any players.
Bravo.
Ben came in with the spectre of Need a manager first for the sign anyone. Lovely, Ben. Love it. Love it. Can't say fairer than that.
And I think that's probably me on the hate list now from all the Barmy Army for the next year. But never
Well,
mind.
at least you'll get cards. Maybe not the ones you like, Ben, but you'll get cards.
Yeah.
It's looking as though this next week could be quite interesting in terms of movement on the United front.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
I know, but
Later.
The actual Olympics.
This is Ben's time. Ben, we've got to run away from you now because we've got very little time left between you and the next caller. But thank you very much. Please do come back on. Hopefully, we can do an update, an Olympic update. I'm putting pressure on everyone. This is all on the fly. People are looking at me. We've got lives. How dare you? Yeah, Ben. Where are you calling from, Ben?
I'm in. I'm sort of just outside Kingston in southwest London, Surrey area.
Well, where all other Australians are, isn't it? Really? South.
Yeah, South London.
In the south.
Yeah.
Which means Kai and Simon's probably thinking, why am I going to Manchester when everyone's in South?
Well, and her mate Mackenzie's already there, so.
Exactly. Just saying.
Exactly. Listen. I'm not going to say the pack mentality, but the pack mentality. Ben, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben.
No worries.
Yes, thank you, Ben.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Worries. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, Ben, good stuff. Do you know what? Australia were in a really difficult group. But I would say this year with COVID, especially with the Euros, teams that people did kind of wrote off and thought they're not going to do anything, turn up. And not only did they play good football, they actually fought within the game. They didn't roll over and get their tummy tickled. And I've got a funny feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah. And it makes for a more interesting tournament as well.
Definitely. Let us know who you think's going to win. Australia, as he says, the group of death. I think they'll get out. And they'll cause problems. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Sam Kerr plays for your team.
Yeah, it's a top six finish, isn't it? But you can still get through in third place in best finish. So on any day, if Sam Kerr is facing any defence, they're concerned. It's what it is. Guys, here we are. We're on Twitter. It's at @_. I remembered this time. Hold the line. Follow us. Check it out. I've got another practice. Okay, fine. I'm just reading so many different things. Thanks to everyone who's watching.
GB question. Who do we
think? GB question.
Who's going to stand out for Team GB?
Who's going to stand out for Team GB? To be honest, I haven't really paid them much attention. To be honest, I'm more concerned. I'm more interested in the other teams. I've got to be honest. Sorry, Emma. I look at that team and it doesn't look for me as a Great Britain team. It's not very inclusive and it's not diverse. I'll be honest. I look at it and I think there's nothing about that team that says I'm excited. Nothing. He's got Jill Scott in there. He got shunted off from Man City to Everton where they fell away.
Let's be real.
Yeah, it's a busman's holiday.
A few of these players are not going to be able to compete in the Olympics again. So, but
this is meant to be
sentimental. Why be sentimental?
I know. We've had this argument before.
Yeah, now's not. Honestly, I think Reece is just hedging her bets because she knows it's not her job. Like the England job is not hers. She was caretaking for it until the Netherlands manager becomes our manager. So she's just gone. Oh, you've played before. Like.
Yeah, look, there are comments coming in. Go on, Emma.
You do want to take some, experienced players along to this tournament, though. There is quite a good balance in there. You have got like Tooney in there. You've got some youth. You've got,
She was lastminute.com.
Yeah.
But still, she's a top quality player. He's been called up because she's earned the call up. Do you know what I mean? Her, all right, she wasn't first on the list, but do you know what I mean?
But what's the chances of her actually getting played?
Which way's the wind blowing?
Why not?
I don't see it. Because they're going to just pick the same formation. As it is, they're tearing it up with the fact that they've got 3 captains instead of just Steph, which would be interesting.
It would be interesting to see if England or Team GB play Australia. What happens then? Because I put my money on Australia. I would. Anyway, I'm throwing it in there. Let us know what you guys think. Craig says, thoughts on Lucy Bronze's comment, won't retire till she's won an international tournament. Well, that's her coming back for the next Olympics then. Emma's shaking her head.
I was going to say, we've got another, is it 400 from Brazil on our hands? We're just going to get back and be like, 40-year-old Lucy Bronze is...
Yeah. She's going to be like...
one of the players that's going to shine in this tournament is Caroline Weir, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm telling you now.
All right. We'll come back to that. On JW has added Stanway or Kirby.
Neither.
Kirby potentially, but I don't know about Stanway.
You need 2 goals side to side.
Stanway shouldn't have got a call up, in my opinion. She hasn't earned it.
Well, Craig's gone. He's gone. Who will be the standout player at the Olympics? Kind of got those. He says, drop your picks in the chat, everyone, please. And he's saying that there. What's happening here? Who have we got in? Jay's here. We've got another caller coming up. We'll come back to the Olympics in terms of who will be the standout player for Team GB. Emma's not happy with me, but surely Jay will help the day. Is Jay there?
We might have lost Jay briefly. Jay, are you still there?
Jay. Let's all pray, everyone. It's a Sunday. It's Sunday. What else are we meant to do? Right. Who will be a standout? We wait for Jay to come back to us. Who will be a standout? I'll be honest with you, Emma. I know that you're a little bit upset with me with that because I'm not upset, Rodney. I looked at the initial selection, and I just thought this isn't even inclusive. This doesn't tell me anything other than it's just like our mates going on a busman's holiday. One last jolly up. It's like watching the Rolling Stones say we're on our final tour again.
Oh, this is it. It kind of feels that we've been put in a situation where it almost suggests that things were desperate. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, we've got a host of players here that have played with one another, that know each other, that can read each other, that know each other's games, and I just kind of feel as though we didn't have much choice. It was almost as if because we had that lack of preparation, the whole Phil Neville saga, that kind of shook the whole situation up. I kind of feel that Heger's kind of feeling I
think we've got a new caller come through.
Yeah,
we've got a caller here. Hello, Jay, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Jay's in the house. How are you, Jay? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you all?
Bit sticky, Jay, but
a little warm.
It's a tad warm here. Where are you calling from, Jay?
Yeah, so I'm in Colorado. I'm actually on the road most of today. So I'm actually on the side of the road here in the mountains, pulled over. So hopefully my connection will be clear enough for us.
Right. Well, we can hear you loud and clear. We'll let you carry on. What's the point you want to make, please?
Yeah, so I appreciate it. Being over here, a pretty big fan of the U.S. women's national team. And so, of course, looking forward to the Olympics. And, it's such an interesting thing being, I'm a Chelsea club fan and a U.S. women's national team fan. So it's really interesting following the national team because I think the expectations for them are so different than any other team I follow in sports where, it truly is kind of, championship or bust completely. And certainly I think they probably everybody's favorite, I guess, but, going into the group, particularly with Sweden, who's been we've had some pretty bad nightmares about them in the past. And then, of course, listening to Ben talk about Australia, I think is another dangerous team in that group as well. So I think fortunately, as you guys were saying, with a little bit different than Team GB's run up here, where they've had, a little bit, not a lot of continuity and kind of a tough time getting a lot of match minutes in for some of these players. I think the U.S. has been right here in the middle of their NWSL season, and then the national team's been able as well to get quite a few friendlies in here before. So I think, again, as far as momentum, I think things are heading in the right direction for them. But what's a little scary about group play, particularly playing Sweden first, is you slip up in that initial match and suddenly, you're playing from behind. So we'll see what happens.
I was going to actually ask you about that, Jay, with Sweden, because it is a bit of a grudge match because of what happened in the last Olympics, and then you guys played them again in the groups for the World Cup. So it seems to be that fate likes to draw you against the Swedes. So how do you think, you guys' chances are against them this time round? Because you did well against them at the World Cup, but is it going to be,
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that is everybody, all the American fans have their eye certainly on that match, and I think it'll be one of the, kind of everybody's excited for that in that match day one, group play. I tend to just think that the firepower is just a little too much. Although again, as a Chelsea fan, thinking Eriksson and Anderson back there, Sweden has a really good defense, and like you say, there's just that relationship almost between the two teams from. All kinds of former connections, and I tend to feel favorites. Although I seem to remember the last time I was on this show was right before Chelsea went and played Barcelona in the Champions League final, and I remember saying I was pretty confident, feeling pretty good. So I might not make that mistake again when I'm on this show. So I won't be quite as bold.
How have you thought about? Obviously, those American players that have now returned to their clubs respectively, that time that they've had in the WSL, how do you think that that's potentially improved their game?
Yeah, I'm ecstatic about it because they were all pretty much at the Manchester club, so I'm really glad they're not in the WSL anymore. I think it was a great experience for them. I think that I think Sam Mewis obviously was sort of the most impactful. I know some of the others that came over just, whether it was, Morgan was there for a short time and didn't really have any particular impact on the pitch for Spurs. And, I think Rose had some impact for City, but not kind of what she's had for our national team. And then I think really the one that I'm the most excited about currently is Kristen Press, because I think she's kind of the player to watch for us in this tournament. Of course, she's very experienced, but I think that she's just been on fire lately, both scoring goals, creating in attack, and just the player that I think is tremendously difficult to defend, particularly when inside of a roster like the U.S., where you can't really, kind of really focus on her from a man management standpoint. So I think that experience was really good for them. I was a little, I was kind of intrigued in some ways. I wanted to see them stay a little longer and have a few more Americans follow them over so I could see a few more of them in the WSL, and they're kind of all back now. But I think that was a really good experience for them, and I don't know if that gets them any more familiarity with some of the players in Team GB, but it's possible that could be somewhat helpful if we see each other in the semis.
Yeah. The thing is, like, with America, I always remember going to the World Cup and watching that final. I remember coming out of the stadium, and the atmosphere was really, there wasn't much, let's be honest. And they just won a World Cup. And I was like, I spoke to some fans coming out of the stadium, and they were like, why are you not like singing, celebrating? And they were just like, it's just another day at the office. Is that kind of how you feel about it? Is there almost this expectancy that it's a given that the US are going to go out and win these tournaments?
Well, I think that's kind of the double-edged sword of this team. And I guess personally, I feel maybe slightly differently than kind of the nation at large, because it is so much that, boom or bust feeling about the team, that I think that does. You get a little spoiled when you see teams that start to have too much success or just repeated success, where you really do, the expectations change so much. For me personally, that terrifies me a little bit, because I think this team is so important for our nation outside of just being a really good football team. But the fact that, particularly when it comes to, women's voice in sports, they have become, far and away the leading voice. And there are so many eyes on them, even from a political standpoint. And, so many of their conversations about, equal treatment in sports and equal pay and all these big fronts that they're on. I think that kind of elevate you onto a status of, unfortunately, when people want to make things a little political, they almost sometimes want to see you fail. And, I'm almost reminded of some of the things I've seen post, the Euros from that side of things, of some of the political comments where it's just like, I really wish this could be separated from that. But the truth is, with the team, it's not. And so, as much as I love them on a sporting level, I really, really, really want to see them do well and not have the opportunity to have some folks, kind of smile that they finally, I don't know. I just, that's where I really think those women are so important, and I really want to see them succeed.
I think it's, what you mentioned there in terms of how they are beyond the pitch is important to sport, not just for America, but I think across the globe, and more so now. And it may be that if they have a little bit of a difficult game, like the first game, and it isn't a win and it's a draw, then those questions will kind of come round again, and questions will be put to them about things that are on the pitch, and they may face questions where they say, is your focus solely on the game itself? And that can happen. But I look at this US national team for the women, and they've got so much talent there. It could be that this could be a breeze in terms of the tournament, and they play some great football and they go on and win it, as a lot of people will probably expect, or as has been already stated, that the group of death be that pretty much that, and they find it very difficult, and they make it out, but they just about make it out of the groups, which would then change the whole dynamics for them going through to the next round and what happens next and the competition. So I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know about you. I've been looking at the FIFA website. Let me just make sure I get the right. It's the FIFA.com tournament website, and all the teams are there, and they don't have any of the pictures of the team players for any of the squads, which they have the names and they have shaded out images of men. But no, I just thought, wow, really? Is this what we're doing today? It makes no sense. Anyway, I'm just making that comment.
That must be Adidas. That must be Adidas, because they're still working through that Amy Turner, Millie Turner thing.
And it's cost them 10 shirts, I think, as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, if that's the case, let the sponsors continue to distribute the goodies. We'll see what happens next. Any other questions, Emma, Ali?
Yeah, Jay, I've got a really quick question for you. So, defender extraordinaire Becky Sauerbrunn is about to break the record for the longest international player for not scoring a goal. So, if she doesn't score within the Olympics, then that will be breaking the record. So, I want to know, do you think she's going to break the record and not score the goal? Or do you think she's going to break her duck and get her first goal this Olympics?
I'll tell you this, if she scores, I'm giving you credit for the reverse jinx right here on this conversation, because I think, that it's like that in basketball. You just never, if you ever say a guy hasn't missed a free throw in 80 attempts, that's always the next one to miss. So it'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. That would be kind of like, just kind of, I guess from a competition standpoint, not so important, but from a fan standpoint, one of those things that just really would be so fun. And I think it's one of those things the team would, kind of go over the top to celebrate with her and to see. And, she's been so important to this team. And I think, like, as you said, Rodney, a little bit ago, or, just that there's so much talent on this roster. And even there's been, I think, some excitement that the alternates were expanded into the, full 22 person roster, so that, I was really, really happy to see Lynn Williams get a chance. It's ironic sometimes when you're debating the players in the U.S. women's squad, because there's so much talent, you could add a lot of other players behind. And then anyone you're saying, maybe they could leave them off, or, have incredible resumes. But I think, this roster so closely reflects the 2019 World Cup squad. And I think some folks would like to see a little more youth sprinkled in there. Somebody like Macario now being in the squad, maybe gets a little more playing time. There's some really young players I'm looking forward to see coming through, like Trinity Rodman and Sophia Smith, and some players that maybe aren't quite there yet, or at least, I can understand why Vlatko wants to take his experience to roster as he does. But Midge Purse, another one that's like there's just some. I would have liked to see this roster shaken up a little bit, but because of the age of the roster, that's very likely to happen next tournament anyway. So,
all right, brilliant stuff, sir. We're going to have to call it time with you. We've got to shoot on to another caller, but really glad that you were able to pull over safely and speak to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
from your sunny location.
Absolutely, and I'll see you guys on Twitter after dark over there, like I do Craig Hadley sometimes. If you guys are watching NWSL, I know that's always.
Craig,
and if don't stay away from my Twitter during these Olympic matches, because I think it'll be about 2 a.m. here. So nothing I say should be taken seriously.
Listen, I usually catch up with you and Craig when I wake up, and I'm always like, "Is he awake now? Why is it like?" Oh,
exactly.
That's
I don't think Craig
so,
sleeps though. So.
No,
Craig never sleeps.
Well, I think what we don't realize is that there's more than one Craig. There's one for every hour of the day. That's how it works.
Makes life a little easier.
Does indeed. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Jay.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Oh, that was good. Love that. And he said a similar thing too about the makeup of the squad, wanting a little bit more youth.
Yeah, because they've got Kelly O'Hara who's glass ankles, who slips over on her own shoelaces.
Go on,
he also said that that in the future, it's a completely different side again, because that youth starts to be integrated into the squad.
Okay.
The thing is, I have my honest issue is not with the outfield players. It was the fact that Telford was brought up as when KB went out, and I'm like, if you want an experienced goalkeeper, you've got to give them experience. You can't say you want an experienced goalkeeper and then not give them the experience.
Let's get some comments in quickly before the next call. Jockey, he says, USA aren't winning Olympics this year. Team GB will shock few. Sweden will win their first game. Right, big one. Bait TV says, huge pressure on Team GB to win their first game. If not, then we will go into Canada and Japan with even more, I suppose, more pressure.
Canada are looking good, Yeah.
Listen, let me explain. Beth Priestman, who was part of the England squad under Neville, how she did not get the gig for England, I don't know. So please, no one should be surprised that Canada are playing well. No one. Not one person. So if people go, "Oh, Canada's a surprise," no, not at all.
Not a surprise, but just they shouldn't be undermined because I think they can go pretty far in the tournament.
They will. Do you know what? I would actually say that when they play the USA, which they probably do 1,000 times, they always seem to fall a little bit short. But they've got talent to hurt teams, and I think that will happen again. Have we got another caller coming through?
We do. We have Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hello there, guys. I'm going to change the subject slightly, if that's okay.
Of course.
Of course.
Wolverhampton Wanderers.
It's all football, Nick.
Women, yeah.
It's all football.
Well, I think last time I was on was before they made the announcements about who was getting promoted, etc. And obviously, we did make the cut. I wasn't flabbergasted that we didn't make the cut. It's so really pleased that we've been promoted to the tier that we should be in. I think certainly talking to some of the Lincoln setup today, because I was up at the pre-season friendly, they're glad to see the back of us because we're obviously dominating that.
Speak your truth.
It's fair. Yeah, but it's when you're having one team dominate a league and not get promoted, and there's only one promotion slot. Yeah. Everyone else is sort of sitting there going, "We're fighting for second place," and that means what? Which is, it's not fair on those teams. So, in that sense, I always said that it would result in better competition. That division that we've just left is definitely going to look hot. Lots of interesting ties there. But no, next season, I think Wolves we're benefiting from Coventry United's sort of progression to professional terms for their players, because we've picked up a couple of their players who don't want to go professional for various reasons. So we've got Beth Merrick and Amber Hughes, and I mean Beth's a Wolves season ticket holder anyhow. So so she's loving being back in, or being able to play for her club as well. So picking up those two players with championship experience, dropping down the tier. But I think we've got it's going to be a really interesting season this season.
Remind me where Beth was again.
She was at Coventry United.
That's what I thought. Good player.
Yeah, so she's dropping down because she's wanting to carry on her teaching career at the same time. So obviously with Coventry going professional, she doesn't want to lose her teaching, and she's now got a chance to play for Wolves, her club. So pulling on the club, whatever club you support, pulling on your shirt means something extra special, doesn't it? So that's really good signing for us. And certainly on Twitter, she's buzzing about being back at the club that she supported all her life. So yeah, really pleased with that signing. Really pleased with Amber. I think we've also got, certainly today, there's a couple of other players on trial, certain new signings that have not announced yet. So it's looking like we're going to be really strengthening again and ready to go again next season.
At Wolves, you've got quite a few players that have come through the ranks, haven't you? So what's the feeling like amongst the team heading into the new season now?
Well, I think we've got to make sure we've got people who've come in from other teams, so like Kelly Darby, who joined us last season, but also we've got some youngsters, people who've been around the club for some time as well, like the Cross Twins, who've been around the club for ever and a day, and similar more season heads as well, like Anna Price, Perks. I think there's a real. There's been a lot of pressure on the teams just to keep going after last season. Not this season, just gone. The season before was ended where we were so dominating, and then going again. So I think there's a bit of a relief actually of being promoted and getting past that hurdle. But there's also we've done it. We're where we wanted to be. Now we've got to go and prove for that. But we've also got some good youngsters coming through with the ranks as well. There's a couple of players there today who are looking really hot. Certainly for young, up and coming players who are going to cause division. Other teams real difficulties. Our striker Leo Joyce is for that Jade Cross sitting on the shoulder, running through, causing defences difficulties. She scored a goal today. She scored a couple over the. She scored a hat trick in the last pre-season friendly against Solihull and 2 against Plymouth as well, and the one before that. So that's 6 in 3 games pre-season. And I think we've got a couple of others who are also going to come through. So I think there's real positivity around the camp. And really, wanting to go out and do it again.
Great.
Anna Price especially, she's offered so much commitment to the team as well.
Yeah.
I was there last season when she made her 300th appearance for the club, and to play 300 games for a club when you're not playing, it's not like you're playing 50 games a season or anything like that at this level. It shows some dedication. It's something. I don't remember how many years she's been with us now. It's all her life basically. She's played for Wolves pretty much, and and you could see the composure and the knowledge of the game when she's sitting in the centre of that midfield today, just bossing it as well. It was great to see.
Yeah, and how are the team feeling about the Black Country Derby, West Brom? One of the earlier games in the season.
Third game of the season away. There's one thing I am disappointed about the fixtures is that both Black Country derbies, home and away, are on a Wednesday night. That's a game that called out for being at the Hawthorns and Molineux, whichever way round. The end of the season just gone. The Wolves women hosted Lincoln in a end of season friendly at the Molineux under the lights. Really, that was impressive. Being able to be there, and that was Anna Price's first appearance at Molineux as well. Randomly, all that time she's only played once at Molineux. But Black Country Derby, bossing for it. We can't wait to have a go at them. And I think, I'll put it now. That's 6 points in the bag already for this next season.
Bragging rights before the season's kicked off.
Why not?
Well, you got to have them. The season was 3 seasons ago when West Brom won the league. We were the only team to take points off them. So, and we've strengthened since then. And I think, I know West Brom, their manager's left now for so no issues. I think he just wants a fresh challenge, and they've lost a couple of players. So I think, we're going upwards. I think, and we're going to give them a good challenge. And I think, we're going to be up for it. We haven't played them for several years now, certainly in anything but behind closed door friendlies, or anything like that. So I think there will be a real up for it. And obviously the men aren't getting a derby either this season, so it'll be these are the derby games. The only proper Black Country derbies this season will be by the women's team.
Oh yeah. And since you say that it'll be a 6-pointer, how many goals will the goal machine Jade Cross get in those games?
I want to say a hat trick in each, because let's be honest, the likes of Jade and Anna. Because they're Wolves fans themselves, it means more. It means a lot to them to score in those games, doesn't it? It's scoring against your rivals. It's a little bit extra special. So I think there'll certainly be some competition to get onto that score sheet. I know Anna Morfitt will have to fight people to make sure she's taking those penalties if we get any penalties against them.
Oh, that's good. Do you know what? You're bold. You're saying it as you see it. 6 points, 6 goals. Well, 6 for one player.
Yeah, I think I think we'll give a good. I know we've played them in sort of behind closed doors in sort of post lockdown easing, and it was. I know it was done as a friendly, but I don't know what the score was. But I think we won, which is the main thing. Anyhow, in these things, but I'm confident. I'm confident in the team, confident in the players, and confident in the manager that he'll get them into that right frame of mind for the game.
Yeah. Have you? Obviously, the fixtures are out. Have you sorted out your season ticket already, or set up everything that you do?
I've picked out a few games I'm going to be able to try and make it to. I actually coach football on Sunday, so I literally sort of finished the Wildcat session this afternoon, or sort of 12 o'clock, jumped straight into the car and pegged it up the road from Cambridgeshire up to Lincolnshire to go and watch the game against Lincoln. So it was my Sundays are fully occupied with other football. So it's picking and choosing which games I can make it to. But so I'm looking at trying to make it to the Loughborough game in December. Will be sort of and make it to the Wolves the second game of the season away at Derby. That'll be trying to make it to that one before we get kicked off again with the Wildcats.
Yeah, we've got a comment here that says Burnley always cause an upset. Don't know if that's meant to upset you at all, but
let's be honest, we're going to take a step up a division. It's going to be tough. We played Forest last season in the Cup. We've played a couple of pre-season friends. We played Loughborough and Stoke in the sort of end of season tournament last season. Loughborough teamed up now with the university, so that'll be a different challenge, which I'm looking forward to. There was going to be some difficulties. We played Fylde a couple of seasons back, and that was really, we won one, lost one there, but they were close games. And we're strengthening and we're building. We've got sort of improved facilities, improved setup at behind the scenes as well. It's not just about what's on the pitch; it's that support to the players behind the scenes. There's acknowledgement. whilst they're not wanting to chuck lots and lots of money at it and try and do a sort of a race to the top by chucking money at it. They're slowly, sustainably building this team and the setup there. So I think there's a case of we're going to surprise a few people as well. I think there'll be a few people who will expect us to be bottom half because we've just been promoted. But I think we'll be causing a few upsets.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Any last questions from you guys before we run off to the next caller?
Yeah, we're going to bring it back to what our special is, which is the Olympics, Nick. So very quickly, who do you think? Gold, silver, bronze?
USA to win it. I think Team GB will get bronze. I'm not sure who will be silver. I just don't think we've had the setup. Sort of build up to it. Only playing we've finally played a pre-season or pre-tournament friendly. We're not how you prep for things, and then you chuck everything else in that you've already picked up on with sort of who's been called up, etc. What I would note about call-ups is sometimes it's better to have a squad of players that get on and work well together than necessarily having the 20 or so best players, the best players in the league that are available. Having that balance personality-wise is something better than having abilities.
Well, that's a tick in Emma's column there. Thanks.
Nick, you can come on again, mate. Honestly, it speaks sense.
Well, I'm just going to link it back to something that's made by a comment that was made by Steve Holland about the England men's team. His player of the tournament was a player that never made it onto the football pitch for England. His English player of the tournament was Conor Cody. Why?
Yeah.
Because he led behind the scenes. He was looking after the players behind the scenes. It was that leadership that actually made him the player of the tournament. And it's those other skills that you don't necessarily see, or we don't see as the pundits and the fans, but the coaches see that are more important at times about who you pick. And I think the goalkeeper situation was you've got limited number of slots, and therefore you wanted a more experienced goalkeeper and a less experienced goalkeeper, so that one is helping the other, and therefore that's why they picked who they picked. Personally, I think it was an interesting choice, but I can understand the logic behind the choice.
Yeah,
you're too diplomatic, Nick.
That makes sense. Thanks a lot, Nick. Appreciate you calling in.
No,
and we'll be looking out for Wolves and the derby. I'm checking out those goals.
Fingers crossed.
Definitely. All the best,
cheers.
Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
I think Nick's just fell away there. Oh, cheers. He's there. The Wi-Fi didn't fail us in this heat. It's interesting. Do you know what? I am really looking forward to the start of the season.
Yeah.
I really am. And I think just watching the Euros, because the games weren't filled with controversy with referees or VAR, I just want to see good football.
Yeah.
And what you found, especially I suppose watching the games from here, there wasn't too much debate around the officials or a decision. It was primarily about the tactics, the style of play, and the result, which is what you really want your conversations to be about around football. You want to talk about the game. You want to talk about how teams set up and what they did and didn't do. But I'm hoping for that, and I'm wary, obviously, because people talk about referees. But I'm looking forward to the football, definitely. Wolves need to be closer. I think if I lived near Wolves, I'd go and watch them.
Yeah, they seem to be really behind their women's team, which is quite refreshing.
It is. There was a comment saying that Charlton have actually been doing a bit of investing. Let's be honest. In the Championship, away from the WSL, Coventry, Charlton, it's going to be full on. We've got another caller. Who is it, please? Hello. Who's it?
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Nat's here. What's going on, Nat?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm hot now. I'm hot.
I'm hot as well, mate. 29 degrees, isn't it? So, yeah, I just heard you talking about outside the WSL, and that's basically what I did today. I went to go and see FC United. Obviously, it's local to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a good setup going on there. They've got a lot of young players, and they're in the 4th tier. And that's a team that I can definitely see challenging to eventually, come up, and I'm sure they've probably got ambitions to one day be in the WSL. And it's good to see, it's good to see teams in the Northwest. Burnley's another one. They want to come up. I know Wolves not quite Northwest, but I'm sure they'll be pushing to come up. I know hearing good things about Blackburn, who are already in the Championship. So yeah, women's football will be on the WSL. It's really good to see it thriving.
Yeah. What was it like today?
Yeah, it was just a pre-season game, so it wasn't like it was just about getting the minutes for some players, and the team's totally changed. But Tom Fitton, he's coached Man United developments, he's coached Sheffield assistant manager when Carla Ward was there, got a UEFA A badge. He obviously has his links with Northwest clubs, so they had a lot of development players, probably players that hadn't quite made it at the top WSL, but are looking for minutes. And for me, I think it's a good thing for, we're looking at the Championship potentially going full time, the WSL's full time. So players are having to sort of, if they want to get minutes, drop down. I mean, there's a girl there, I think, that was ex-Blackburn. So there's going to be a lot of movement, I think, from the Championship with teams looking to go pro, and maybe some players that still want to play but aren't going to maybe get their time pro. So they're having to go, third, fourth tier, and that's only going to lead to the league growing. And then if some of the young players play with these sort of Championship ex-WSL, it's going to be good for them and their development as well.
Yeah, good. I know you say it was a pre-season friendly that's getting the minutes. I mean, what's the capacity of the ground? What's their long-term vision? Do you know? And in terms of the style of play, could they play?
Oh well, yeah, they play definitely a possession-based football and passing it around. And I think, they weren't, but they usually play in the men's stadium. I can't even say it, Broadhurst.
Yeah,
Park,
Broadhurst
I think,
Park.
which
You
is,
know what? It's a
north.
really good setup there. I really like that ground.
Well, we weren't there today. We were on the 3G outside, but it's like they've got 3G outside. They've got training pitches. It's they look like, it's an ex-Man United fans putting money into football. It's not just about the men's team; it's about their women's team doing well. And like you said, it looks like a lot of good players are going to be there in the Northwest. So for me, the first game of the season for them, 15th at home at the stadium versus Newcastle United. So if they can, get a win there, I don't see why. I think Tom's a really good manager, so I don't see why they can't, go up to the third tier. Then you're looking at Championship, which is then, professional or quasi-professional. And, who knows? I mean, Burnley doing the same thing. Hearing good things about Wigan and Bolton. It'll be a time when all the North clubs are thriving, hopefully.
Yeah. You'll have to kind of get yourself more flags, Nat, with all these other United teams. You'll have to set up at home and start sewing.
Yeah, well, listen, we've got our guys. We've got our guys working, don't we? And we've got our guys working on the alleged new deals. So don't worry. Everyone will get love. And, even the United development team, the under-21s, they're starting on Monday. So that's going to be good for them. They brought in some new talent through from Liverpool devs. So I can only see it being positive. The under-19s are getting back together. There's a few United girls in that. And, Villa got a really good development set up as well. And even though I know Villa ain't North, but they're Midlands, but it's like local to me, I say. That's what I class it as, local to me, if I can get to it. Coventry, obviously, local to me again. Leicester. So all that sort of setup is good. I'm not saying there's a North-South divide. I don't think there is. I think, London teams are doing well, but I know about the Northern teams, and it's just good to see them all getting behind their women's teams.
That's good. You know what? It really is good. You say, ex-Man United fans set it up and helping the local teams at a lower level in terms of the tier. I want to ask you, Nat. Actually, you've come on to talk about the team you went to watch today. I want to ask you about Manchester United women. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned with what's happening or what's not happening?
I think, Rodney, a lot of it is, how can you say? I think a lot of it's happening behind the scenes. They're just not announcing it. So they've apparently done the manager now, but they're waiting on the announcement. I think we've got to wait and see who it is. No one knows about it. It's not been leaked.
It's me.
So, there's talk that it is. Yeah. There's talk that the person's in a job. So that's why it's not been leaked. So, there's Mark Sampson. I think it was Mark Sampson, yeah. The one at Orlando. There's a guy who's in Spain that they're talking about. There's a guy who's in France. I just think, there's 5 deals that have been done already, from January time. Borussia was one that the Norwegian Federation leaked on Friday night.
Yeah.
In terms of concern, I'm concerned in that it's a big Premier League team and it doesn't seem to be interested. But I think you could say that's for every team in a way. And I know Man United will always get the stick and they came in last, so they're going to get the most stick, and as they should. But I don't think we're doing as bad as it's being portrayed. I think, you know, things will get better. Might get worse before they get better, but I'm not gonna sit here and cry. Crying's been done now. About moving on. And
is that how it kind of feels for you? Nah, is that kind of how? Yeah, is that kind of how you kind of see things going? That this season, next coming season is going to be a bit of a rebuild for.
Yeah. So I think this season, I mean, we finished 1 point off third. I know we didn't, but I basically see us as we were in the Champions League, bar little bits and bobs, you know. And you would think you just finished 1 point off, you're going to push for that again. You're going to push for third, maybe even second. No, for me, I think this season, if we finish fourth, it's a good season. And then next year, that's when we go all out for it. I mean, who knows? We could win a cup, or I don't know. It depends who the man is or the woman. Like I said, it looks like it's pretty much done. And then just waiting on the announcement. The announcements will always take time. You look with the men's team, everyone knows Sancho's done, but we're here waiting on a video or something, you know, and that's what I think it is. They will announce it when all the video's done, when all the pictures are ready, when all that. That's what they're about. They're not going to announce it because everyone's sort of saying, oh, what are you doing? You're not announced something. We've done the deals. It's just, like you say, where's the pictures? Then when the bells are ringing, then they'll say, here you go. But yeah, the crying's been done now. I think if anyone's still like that, it's not going to, you know, sitting here crying and being upset over what's happened. It's about what happens in the future.
And it's about the fans getting back behind the team and pushing on for next season.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
what you want to see.
I've got to be honest with you. I did feel that they've not been. Things haven't been handled well, but obviously you have a greater understanding and insight as to what is actually happening. I felt for the fans. I felt for you guys now, I have to be honest, because I know how much you put into supporting the team. I mean, literally everything. It's, you know, you go 110% all out. And, you know, I just think that the club haven't matched that or even been 50% of what you've done. So hopefully, things will change.
In the men's game. They didn't match it in the men's game. No, they don't. So, in a way, that's the all red equal there. You know, they're doing exactly the same. What they do with the men. What they do with the women. They're not in.
I love that. I love that hashtag when you do it. All reds are equal, but just not in pre-season.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Any other questions, Ali, Emma, before we go? Nah, because we've got another caller coming through, so we'd love to have you come on.
Okay.
And, come on again, but
definitely
not just about your local team as well, just about anything.
Yeah, definitely. Just give me a shout. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. Really appreciate it.
Very quickly, Nat, because it's the Olympic special. Very quickly, gold, silver, and bronze. Who do you think?
England. Oh, sorry, it's not
who's the what? Sorry, say it again.
The Olympics.
For the Olympics, gold, silver, bronze. What do you think?
USA, sorry, but I think USA gold. I think Sweden silver. I don't think Team GB or Holland for third for bronze. So there you go.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
It's a nice one, Nat. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Comment in the thing on the screen there. Stuart says United will finish above Everton. No doubts about it. And Craig has come back. Agree to disagree.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. Dan Pentland says not being in the Champions League could benefit Man United big time for me. Lots of extra games for City, Chelsea, and Arsenal this season if they do well. But they will do well because they're making sure they have a big enough squad. And
I was going to say the rotation.
They have a manager. Right. If there's time. Have we got another caller? Whose cat's attacking them? Oh, sorry. Someone says, but apologies, everyone. There's a message on the screen saying the cat is attacking me. I was like thinking, who's written that? Oh, gosh. It's good to see and hear about local teams. You know, you support a team in the WSL or the Premier League and you just go to watch another team local to you. Honestly, living in the south, there are so many teams around me that are going to play football at the same time. My head's spinning already, and the season hasn't even begun, because I know I've got to get down to watch Brighton. I mean, Brighton even aren't really near me. It's a drive. I'm going to have to go down to Lewes to see them at home. Queen's Park Rangers, Dulwich Hamlet. I need to pop down to Fulham. Then there's Crystal Palace. I've definitely got to go up to West Ham.
It's going to be a bit of a hold the line bus tour, isn't it? Really,
I'm telling you, I'm going to have to do pitch side little like.
I think we're all going to be here, there, and everywhere.
Like Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, if they let me in, they might not.
Can I just say something just while we're just quiet and we've not got a caller on the air? Obviously, if you tuned into on and off the pitch last episode in the middle of the week, we talked about a couple of guests coming onto the show. So if you're here for those special guests, I'm really sorry, you're going to be disappointed because they're not coming on.
What are you talking about? We are the special guests.
Well, yeah, we're special, but
we're special.
I'm really disappointed. We were supposed to have a couple of special guests from Coventry United, and that's obviously not come off this evening. So hopefully we'll be able to
special.
They are probably sitting down in front of a fan, melting alongside a slice of Viennetta ice cream.
Oh, that's frozen back.
But hopefully we'll get that sorted for a future episode. I'm really sorry if you're obviously expecting special guests this evening.
Yeah. So back to the Olympics though. Is there a specific game you're looking forward to? Like,
is there a game? I have to be honest. Am I looking forward to a game? I'm looking forward. The group that I'm interested in is Chile, Canada, and they're in Team GB's group. I think Chile they're going to be a team that no one really knows anything about, and I think they're going to play exciting football, and people will be entertained. I'm looking forward to a team that I know absolutely nothing about, but I want to learn more.
Right. Sorry, Rodney, I'm going to interrupt you because my old mucker is on the line. Hello, Reece.
Who's that? Hello?
Hi, Ali. Hi, Emma. Hi, Rodney. You okay, guys?
Hey, Reece. Yeah.
Hey, Reece. How you doing?
Home from home. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm good, Rodney and everyone. I just was put in a comment earlier that I'm really impressed with West Ham's transfer business. I think it's been fantastic for us so far. I feel like we've made smart and clever signings, and there's a load of fans that were quite critical of Aidan Boxall at the start of the window and over the summer, and I feel like he's done a good job, and there seems to be a bond there with Ollie, the manager, and he's getting back, so I'm quite impressed.
Yeah. Who's been the signing that's most impressed you?
Definitely Claudia Walker for me. I feel like once Martha left, we needed the same sort of striker to sort the system out. The trouble with Martha was she was very injury prone. I think that's the reason we let her go in the end. I believe she's going to United as well, so it works well for both parties. And I feel like with Tamika Yallop in there as well, the midfield we've got, that's strong now. We've got a lot of options. The way Ollie plays is attacking football. So, yeah, I feel like Claudia Walker is probably the best signing this summer.
Claudia Walker, nice. I like that. I'm glad you said that. You gave mention about the outgoing number 9 injury prone going to Manchester United.
You like our number 9s apparently because you took Rossi off our hands.
That didn't work out, did it? That didn't work out at all. So are we talking about someone who's going to be sidelined on the going forward for another team? No, don't talk about that because you come on to talk about West Ham. What do you know of Phyllis, who signed for West Ham, Reece?
Yeah, I watched her a bit last season. Yeah, that's actually a really good signing. That's a smart signing as well. She's a young player with Kate there and Dagny. They can sort of teach her the ugly side of the game, I suppose, with the tackles and stuff. As we know, they like to play that sort of style quite a lot. And I think what we've done in our midfield is really boosted our attacking options. And yeah, it's a great signing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her play. It'll be interesting to see if she can make the step up, because I to be honest, I think she'll be someone that stands out in the WSL this year.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. She won't need to learn any tricks, Reece. She can take care of. From I've watched her play, she can take care of herself. I believe that there'll be a number of left backs in the WSL who probably have a very uncomfortable afternoon should they come up against her, because she does give everything when she's playing. So yeah, I was actually really happy when I saw that signing. I was like on Twitter going to Ali, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" Ali happy as ever. Yeah, you were really happy. Why not? The WSL is going to be really interesting this season. This new season, it's going to be interesting, and the teams. I mean, Reading, who always seem to do well and then have a bad game here or there, they seem to be, changing their squad. Really surprised to see, is it Daniel Carter leave them and then literally within 45 minutes be pictured wearing a Brighton shirt. So Brighton are doing good business. Reading are doing good business. Spurs seem to be doing good business. Leicester have signed Jess Sigsworth as well. A few other players rumoured to be going there. It will be interesting, and I'm extremely happy. I need to find out from Reece about the Olympics.
Yeah, Reece, you watching the Olympics this coming up weeks?
To be honest, I do agree with Rodney a bit about Team GB. I'm not really excited about Team GB or the Olympics at all, to be honest. I'm more looking forward to the start of the WSL.
Fair dues.
Like, listen. I am interested in the Olympics. I am. I'm just not sold on looking out for the fixtures in terms of Team GB. I'm really interested in watching the tournament and seeing the games overall, and seeing and learning about new players and seeing different teams, because I look at Team GB selection and for me it just looks like the Lionesses, and I think I know how they play. I know how that there is going to be nothing new from them that's going to say I'm going to be really excited about this game. Nothing. Sorry, Emma.
I'll tell you one thing though, Rodney, about Team GB. Yeah, Jill Scott's it's really important she's in that squad, because everybody was moaning about Jordan Henderson with the England men's team beforehand, and what you saw when he played and behind the scenes was there was great leadership. When he came on, he was able to take the team forward with his leadership on the pitch, speaking like the game for the younger players that were in attack. So I think Jill will do that similar role. You can have all the talent in the world, if you don't have the experience and the know-how in teams, I don't think they get anywhere really.
But how do you get experience if you don't play them? That is my biggest argument. We want experienced players, but how can we not get experienced players if you don't play them?
Tell them they're experienced.
I think the idea is you play the younger players in the starting team and get their experience, and you have the leading players on the bench or around the training camp that can help them in the build up to matches mentally, because the mental side of football is massive. If these players, the younger players, don't go in with the knowledge and the know-how these older players can give them just by a conversation, you never know how they're going to perform. I think them being told what they're about to experience before a match by these experienced players, getting them ready can be a massive boost for the Team GB squad. The only thing I'm not really sure about, I have to be honest, is the manager. I feel like I've not been impressed with the England game she's managed. I think it's actually a bit too much like Phil Neville in a way. So yeah, that's my main worry.
I was quite scared when you said Phil Neville there for a minute. I was like, hold on. What's going on here?
is going to be.
That's one thing to remember, Rodney, when you're looking at Team GB in England. It could be worse. We could have Phil Neville.
I was thinking like, oh yeah, and then what Rachel Daly will play with right back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Bronzy in midfield.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that. We've got faith. I've just been looking on the FIFA website again, and I've got to answer the question because Emma did say who do you think is going to stand out for? I totally forgot that Lauren Hemp was in the selection. Hemp.
Lauren Hemp.
And I'm going to go with Lauren Hemp. You know, because I do like her as a player. I really do. First time I saw her play was when Man City went down to Spurs. I think it was last season or season before, and I saw her playing, and I just thought, like the cut of your jib. Again, another player that doesn't care about, you know, kind of like status or anything. She just thinks, I'm going to go in and cause havoc. And she, I think Man City really needed her when she came back from her injury, and I think this will probably be a good tournament for her as well. So yeah, for Lauren Hemp. But even though everyone will be talking about Ellen White and whatever it is, Emma, Reese, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there, Rodney.
Yeah. Do you know why? This is a question for both you and Emma. Why does Ellen White do that thing when she scores a goal? What is that? The glasses.
It carried over from. She's a big fan of Bundesliga, isn't she? And it sort of carried over from that.
Oh.
So
there was a particular player that did it, and I can't remember his name.
He's a fan of FC Cologne.
Yeah.
And he played, and she scored after she saw him play and just did it because she'd just seen him do it, I believe.
So basically, she stole the celebration and made it her own.
Okay, no, I actually thought that she's got contact lenses in and she just showing.
She does that too. She does wear glasses.
Oh, right.
She does wear glasses.
That's a strange celebration, though, isn't it? Because she does it. I'm like thinking, what does that mean? I want to know.
It's kind of iconic. It's kind of iconic. I would say it's iconic now.
Yeah. I'm glad I know what it means, though. Just copy that.
It'd be much better if she done the if she done the Iron celebration, Rodney, because she's a West Ham fan.
Yeah.
Is she a West Ham fan?
He's a mad West Ham fan. Has been for years. I had a conversation with him.
There was BT Sport did when they have the players and they go back for all the shirts, classic football shirts, and a lot of them were West Ham. It was a great episode. I think it's on YouTube.
It is, yeah.
It's really worth a watch as well.
So maybe we can get her in her later years, like all the others. Come join us when City done with her.
So she's a West Ham fan. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
I've got a question for Reese and Ali as well, I suppose. West Ham next season. Where should you be setting your sort of aspirations?
I'd say round about mid-table, trying to slightly climb above that. I think last year we struggled massively last year. At the start of the season, something wasn't right. Clearly, I believe it was in the background, but we won't go into that sort of speculation. So this is a rebuild season for us. I think mid-table, bring the team together, get them playing, and then look on to brighter things the season after. One thing I will say though about West Ham right now is I think this is the most confident I'm going in with the team, because I think Ollie's really going to take us somewhere. And I think, it's a typical West Ham stereotype of mid-table and a good cup run.
I'll argue with that.
Good stuff.
West Ham are capable of a good cup run.
Hopefully when I'm there in the ground and I can watch the win. Right, Reese, thanks for spending the time to talk to us. Really appreciate it. Thank you. We're gonna shoot off now and speak to one more person. Apparently, they don't want to talk to us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you in the season.
Yes, definitely. We've got another caller, I believe. One more caller coming in.
Not just yet, I don't believe. Couple.
Have we got a caller coming in?
So we've got a couple of good comments. I think JW's comment is one worth.
There was a question, which is a private question. Why the bleep?
I'm just seeing that.
Why the bleep was Knobs not taken? Who the bleep wrote that question?
I agree. If you're going to give me one or the other, it's Knobs over Scott.
I don't understand. I
do feel a little bit sorry for Knobs in the fact that she missed out on France. And everyone was really gutted for her. So it kind of seems like that was a little bit more sort of she kind of deserved it and warranted the place within the squad. So yeah, that's a bit of a disappointment to see her not in there.
Yeah. Good comment from JW and question. It says, anybody excited about Team GB? Yeah. Getting the sense that there's a lot more excitement about the domestic league starting again. I suppose for me, yes. I'm looking forward to the Olympics and the games, but I suppose I am looking beyond the Olympics already.
Yeah.
Keen.
Looks like
we have a caller.
We've got our final caller. Hello, Adam.
Hello there.
Hi, Adam.
Hi. I'm on to talk about Team GB and some other topics, if that's all right.
Well, let's start with the Team GB, Adam, and see how long we've got, because we're running out of time. Not that we want to get rid of you.
Sure. Yeah, no worries, that's fine.
Yeah.
So my thing about Team GB is we've had very poor preparation. One game since 2012 behind closed doors. I don't like the makeup of the squad, I have to be honest. The way the reserves, especially the goalkeepers, Telford has basically been in semi-retirement and then gets called up. I don't know why that was, especially over somebody, say, like Mary Earps, who's a fantastic goalkeeper. She's been in no woman's land. She's been dropped from international football for no apparent reason. I know she's had a surgery this summer, but I don't know if that was because she was left out of the squad or whether, she could have, easily been part of the squad. She's a top-class goalkeeper with experience with Wolfsburg, Champions League experience. These are the type of experiences that, you would ideally think you would want in a tournament, but apparently, I don't know why, no. And then we still seem to rely on the older players. If I have to see I don't want to come too cross negative, but if I have to see Steph Houghton and Millie Bright together at centre back one more time with the amount of errors and mistakes they've made together, I would love to see Leah Williamson start there. To me, she's a fantastic centre back. Wonderful centre back. She should be the centre back that we build. Not just Team GB is obviously politics and everything. We can't go forward with that, but England as well. She should be the one that we should be building around. She's fantastic. I can't praise her enough. So that's who we should be looking to focus on. And then I like the midfield. I'm not going to lie. And the forwards. I would prefer to see Jess Fishlock called up and Jordan Nobbs and Beth Mead. I just don't think the makeup of the squad is quite what it should be. And we should be looking to give the youngsters experience in this. Ebony Salmon, I've watched her for ages. Why the heck wasn't she called up? She's doing fantastic now in the NWSL. And it's great to see. And I know he was only 18 and then was called up to 22 or whatever the number 22 was its squad size. But there should have been room for this. The average age for me is just too old for me, the average age of the squad. I'm sorry I've got a massive rant here, but I just need to get this off my chest.
Yeah, no, you've made some good points, actually. Some really good points. Two really good centre-backs, Steph Houghton and Millie Bright. Two leaders, two captains. But sometimes I see them together. This is me with my very short-term knowledge of the Lionesses Team GB. it's almost like sometimes because they're both leaders, they don't always complement one another when they're defending. And I don't know if that's one needs to take the lead and the other doesn't necessarily know when not to take the lead. It just seems, it can seem to lead to errors where there shouldn't be errors. When you look at them in terms of their club career, they're phenomenal defenders. They're absolutely phenomenal defenders for both their clubs. So, and that's one of the things I look at when I go back to the World Cup, and I see the game in my mind with the USA, and I just think, how did they not stop the chances that were created? So anyway, we're going too far back. Emma, Ali, do you have a question for Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I hope this is not poking a bruise, but again, like I said with Nat, with Man United, do you see you guys getting a manager anytime soon? Have you got an idea of who you'd want it to be, or is it just winging a prayer at the moment?
At this point, I'm just desperate to see somebody appointed. I mean, even if it's Martin Ho, the assistant manager to Casey Stoney, who's just taking training now. It's at a stage now I just want to see somebody appointed, just so that we can get on with the important matters. We've got players who've got 1 year left of their contracts, important ones like Jackie Groenen, who definitely needs the security of whether she will be offered a new one, will not be offered one, should she be started to look for a new club, etc., etc. All these things you can't do until you have a manager. And the longer we wait to appoint or announce, or even if it's done in the background, it's just frustration, and it's just a complete and utter lack of communication on our behalf. We've had the issues with lack of communication with the announcement of Sancho on the men's side, etc. It's just the biggest key issue for us is that. I mean, because you look at teams like Everton, Leicester are doing fantastic transfers, Reading, everybody seems to be moving on except us. City have signed Buddy Shaw, Chelsea have signed the PSV defender, I think, haven't they? And obviously looking to sign Lauren James. And then there's us, just seems to be in hibernation mode and with thinking, oh no, what are we going to do? We've got to kick it to first gear. I've got to do something. So hopefully it's this week. I hoped it was last week. I hoped it was the week before. But now as we come into pre-season mode, we don't even have a retained list. I don't know, for example, who our captain is. Do we still have Katie Zeeland as our captain? She's in the promotional material where the new season's kit, but there's no, every other team has put a retained list out. Who's keeping players? Who's left? We haven't. We're up in limbo. So that's this keep going back to communication. That's all. We're not asking for a billion things, just simple things. Do we have a big squad? We could have one as low as 12 or as high as 16 or 18. This is just the not knowing, which is the really frustrating element. I just, which numbers players' shirts to get on the back if we don't know because there's no information out there. So it's just so unbelievably frustrating. That's all.
Yeah. I sense the pain and frustration, and I think points that I've made myself privately, to be honest. So totally understand. Really, I totally do.
I mean, all it would take would be a tweet on the official Twitter site just to say, these are the players we're keeping for next season. These are the players that have been let go. Supposedly, a few players' contracts are supposed to end in, end of June, but we don't know that. We don't know for sure. But that's all I want.
Yeah.
Is just knowledge. Things could be going on behind the scenes, but then I look at other clubs' websites, Twitter feeds. See players standing with scarves, putting messages out, and there's us just putting, buy the new training.
Oh, has he gone?
Yeah, unfortunately, looks like the internet connection's gone.
Yeah, someone's alarm's gone off. Is it dinner time?
Sorry, that was me. That was me. Sorry. Sorry.
Right.
I was just going to ask Adam about, because obviously it was getting a bit drab. But anyway, like just getting fans back in the stadium though, like, and trying to end on the positive. It's really looking forward to getting back in the ground and joining the games again. I renewed my season ticket today, buzzing for that. So I'm sure a lot of fans are feeling the same as well. I'm sure you guys are too, Atlee, especially.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I've missed the M6.
Yeah.
I'm staying local. I'm not travelling to Manchester. Well, unless it's the derby is, and then I'm only going to one particular ground because I'm not going to the LSV. Said it. Don't care. I'm going to say we've literally run out of time. We literally run out of time.
Yeah.
It's gone too quickly. It has gone too quickly. I'm going to say thanks to everyone who's been watching. Please do give us a like, say hi. Follow us on Twitter. It's at @double_hold_the_line. And send us as many questions as you can about the Olympics. Who you think is going to win? You know, gold, silver, bronze. Who will be the standout player? Which teams do you believe will be the most entertaining before the competition begins? And all of that good stuff. And anything else to do with the women's game beyond the Olympics when it's the WSL return and the championship, etc. And nationally. Don't forget the nationally.
It's quick because obviously all the colours are given there, gold, bronze and silver. Where are you placing everyone?
Where am I placing gold, blonde? I think America will win. The USA will win. I think Sweden could do a number. I think they'll be there and thereabouts. No, in fact, I'll change that. I think Australia could do a number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing, say, Australia silver and bronze. I'm just going to do stuff for spite and say, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to say a team for bronze. I'm going to say Japan.
Fair enough. What about you, Ali?
I think it's going to be USA will win it. But I think Japan will actually come second just because hometown advantage and that certainly did Team GB some good last time. And I would say that it's going to be Sweden or Canada in third.
Okay. I'm gonna say USA gold, GB second in silver, and Canada bronze.
Canada in bronze. Can you add DM back? Oh, right, I'll do it. Yeah, I can. We're running to time. DM is in the house. DM's gone. Right, okay, that's it, guys. I'm going to say thanks to Ali and Emma. So I'm saying thanks to them. It's not my gig. This is a joint venture. Yeah. Saying thanks. How dare I? How dare I? I'm going to say thanks to Craig, DM, for doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Loads of stuff. There's Craig. Craig is there. The maestro, the man, the knowledge. DM is there. Doing all. Don't worry, DM. We're with family. No judgment here. Sunday's hot. We're all looking forward to sorbet. Brilliant stuff. Before we go, is there a comment? One last. Dan says swap the Netherlands for Japan with. Actually, I missed that one. Gold USA, silver Netherlands. He wants to swap Netherlands for Japan. That's what he's saying. Okay, that makes sense. I'll do that very quickly. There you go. There you go, Dan. And then I'll do that bit there. Boom. We're done. Right. Thanks for all of those of you who've stayed with us on this warm, sunny Sunday evening. That's the gang. We'll be back again hopefully very soon once we've found our way to the fridge and some refreshments. See you all later. Bye.
Bye.